That's a good ball for Peter Weir. Now Aberdeen with McGee making the break and Hewitt waiting in the middle. Yes!
Countdown to Kickoff is brought to you and supported, as it always is, by Saltire Energy, the global market leader in specialist drilling equipment rental, and also by the fantastic people at Craig International, who have 10 offices strategically placed all over the world, from America to the Middle East to Australia, South Africa, and the Far East as well. The future of global procurement is very much safely in their hands. And if you get a chance, please check out their brand new website. Tomorrow, the Dons are looking for back-to-back league victories. We welcome Kilmarnock, who themselves have had back-to-back league victories. It's the first time that they've done that this season. Derek McInnes will be welcomed back, as he always is, to Pittodrie Stadium. Kick-off tomorrow is at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So let's put it into context for you. So, quite unbelievably, as we keep mentioning, we are still in third place, just a point ahead of Dundee United, who host Motherwell tomorrow. Hibs, who are currently in fifth place, they actually welcome Celtic in the early kickoff. Rangers take on St Mirren, and Ross County host Dundee. Those are your fixtures for tomorrow. Hi everybody, how are you doing? A very warm welcome to Ali Beg ABTV this Friday night. This is Countdown to Kickoff, your preview show ahead of our game against Kilmarnock tomorrow at Pittodrie. We've got a very busy and a very special show for you tonight, because we're going to be remembering an Aberdeen legend who was born this day. I'll bring that to you a little bit later. We've got the normal housekeeping for you tonight. Going to predict the team news. We're going to hear from the gaffer. We've got your match stats. And I'm going to add a new element into the programme tonight. Been thinking about this for a wee while. I'm going to give you an opposing player to look out for. So I've picked a Kilmarnock player who I think we need to keep a close eye on tomorrow, who's been doing very well. I've got all the stats for you a little bit later. But before we get into anything, it's just a very gentle reminder that tomorrow it's the Aberdeen Football Club Community Trust Day. There's going to be a fantastic display in the Richard Donald stand. The lads are going to be wearing commemorative strips to mark the occasion as well. And if you do get a chance, in and around Pittodrie, there's going to be the Sea Fine food banks. So if you're able to donate any type of food, or if you can just add to the collection, that would be absolutely fantastic. As you all know, everybody involved with the community trust at the football club do a phenomenal job. They go above and beyond to take care of so many people in our community, and they all are fantastic people and an absolute credit to the football club. So if you can, it would be absolutely brilliant if you could try and make some sort of donation. I'm really looking forward to seeing the display. So get in touch, usual drill, live chat, come on, tell me what you think. What do you think Kilmarnock will offer us tomorrow? What do you think will be the team tomorrow? So while we're on that subject, right, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to sit on the fence, and I'm going to think that the gaffer, and I'm hoping that the gaffer will stick with the same team that has started the past two games. So I'm going to stick with the same starting 11. So I'm going to stay with Ross, even though Dimitar's fit, and I know that a few of you have said that he needs to come back in, but I don't think Ross has done anything wrong. So that's what I think the team will be tomorrow. And if I'm being honest, that's what I'm hoping the team will be tomorrow. Let's give you your match stats. So Aberdeen have won 6 of their last 7 home league games against Kilmarnock, losing the other 1-0 in December 2023. Kilmarnock have won both of their last 2 league games, last winning 3 in a row in the Scottish Premiership in October 2020. Believe it or not, the two teams have not drawn any of the last 12 matches against each other. The referee is Nick Walsh, and on VAR duty is Andrew Dallas. Right, so let's bring you a soundbite from the manager. This video, as always, comes courtesy of Aberdeen Football Club. So the manager sat down this morning. He gave an injury update on Jack Milne, Anti Polvara, and Esther Sokla. Got there in the end. So they're all back training, but he still says that he thinks they're still a good couple of weeks away from actually featuring in any games. Hence why I think he'll stick with the team tomorrow. The bench will also be interesting tomorrow. So again, he's answered a number of questions about form, getting back to winning ways, beating Dundee, getting back-to-back league wins. And this is basically how he answered it. Jimmy, in today's press conference. Oh, that's not the press conference, you numpty.
Of course, it's always nice to win games, but I have to say also in the difficult time, we have a strong mentality in this club, and everybody supporting each other, and the drive was always there, even if the wins didn't come. So everybody was pushing, but of course you saw the smile on the place when we win the last game, and our supporters. It's always nice to win games. That's why we are competing. So of course it helps, but I think it's really strong characters and strong mentality inside the club, even in the difficult times, that the goal is still in front of us and we try to achieve something together, and the struggling part of the season don't make us lose the direction. We're still aiming for the same thing, and still we are there in the competition. So we have to keep pushing now and keep working hard and try to achieve the points and the wins.
If you are getting along to the game tomorrow, you have two choices of programmes if you fancy it. One to commemorate the Community Trust, and the other with Shady Mo on the front. So you have a couple of choices. Of course, superbly designed by Dolly Digital and brilliantly edited, as always, Red Match Day by Malcolm Panton. Right, so let's get you guys on to start with, and then we'll do the player to watch, and then we'll do a little bit of a on this day. Right, let's see how you are. Oh, lots of you on tonight. Fantastic. Gordon Keith Ritchie came on and said, good evening all. Time to get our home form back and win. It won't be easy, as we know how Kilmarnock will play. Time to go on a run and make third place ours. Be interesting to see if Calvin Ramsey plays for Kilmarnock tomorrow. First time back at Pittodrie since obviously leaving for Liverpool. Colin Gale says we need to get off to a more positive start tomorrow. A quick goal will allow us to kick on for the remainder of the game. Can't Be Bothered says the same. It's imperative that we come out of the traps fighting and build on the last result. He says Mitov surely has to start if fit. Please don't play Nielsen and Shinnie. I don't think he will. Your musical box is on. He's wishing everybody a good evening. He also says, as long as there are no knocks, I think it will be Mitov in goal and in the same team as last week. Wayno DJ says, we have to start with the same 11 or maybe bring in Mitov if he's 100% fit. Keep the consistency and momentum going. The Dons are back. Colin Gale says, I'm puzzled by the recall of Emsley, only to go back to the same club today. Youngsters and Dons don't seem to go well together. Tulleen not brave enough to give academy players an opportunity. I must admit, I was a bit puzzled by that as well. Why recall him just to send him straight back? David Gold is on, wishing everybody a good evening, as is David Horn. He's asking for 3 points tomorrow. Luminous Reality says, if it ain't broke, then don't fix it. A settled team is a winning team. I feel a win tomorrow. Colin Gale says, surely a keeper and a back four who have been playing together deserve to continue tomorrow. David Gold also thinks there'll be little to no change in the lineup. Graham Gibbs says it has to be better than the last Kilmarnock game. Yeah, we'll just forget that one ever happened, shall we? Neil Mazon wishing everybody a good evening, as is Kaiser, as is Hugh Burns, as is Neil Sinclair. Hugh's asking for the same team again tomorrow. Bruce Struthers is on. Sheep on Fire is on, as is Paul Hannon. He's looking forward to the game tomorrow, so is my nephew Scott, as it's his first Pittodrie visit. It was his first Dons game last week, and a win. Hope he's our good luck charm. Say hi to Scott for us, Paul. Bruce Strother says, feeling confident about tomorrow. We owe Killy after a Boxing Day debacle. Barry Cool says, evening dandies, can't wait for tomorrow. Daughter and stepdaughter coming along. Same team and have a go. Killy will be physical and we need to match them. Elfie Dello says, good evening Ali and fellow dandies. Hopefully another 3 points tomorrow and a good performance. Hopefully another settled starting lineup. Neil Sakin is on. He thinks the score will be 3-2 to the Dons. And he's also looking forward to the Community Trust Day. Sheep on Fire says anything less than 3 points and we have not turned the corner. Remember days when we were expected to beat Killy at Pittodrie? Bruce Struthers said Pappy and Nisbet both to start tomorrow. Yep. John Grant's on. How are we doing, John? He says, I'm going for the same starting lineup tomorrow again. Hopefully we can keep it tight at the back and plenty energy going forward. Musical Bot thinks it'll be a tight game, but we'll win 2-1. Bruce Struthers says, Ali, be careful with your team selection. Kaiser's reminding everybody that, of course, we're heading to Celtic Park on Tuesday. And he says, it's about time we get a win against that lot. Any danger? Dick G says, good evening Ali and dandies. Jimmy T got a good selection headache with a few injured players back in the squad. Who does he stick with? Duhan or put Mittoff back in goals? John Kylo says, I think we're expected to beat Killy tomorrow. Whether we do is another thing. Hugh, you'll be delighted that I didn't say shinny for tomorrow. Ian Aberdeen FC says, Ali, you big coward. Neil Sinclair says, hoping that Nisbet gets another. New guy, Deba, gets his first, and Fletcher Boyd gets some decent game time. Hugh Byrne says, maybe Devlin in for McKenzie. Can't see it. Yep. Kaiser makes a great point. He says, plenty of long balls over the top from Kilmarnock. Tobers and Knuster better be aware. Wayno DJ said exactly the same thing. Killy equals hoofball. Graham Gibbs says, I believe Killy are less hoofball when there's no Fassell playing. He's out injured for a while. Marley Watkins is not so good as a target man. They will play down the wings. Jerry Kennedy says, let's hope we can send Killy down the road with a scalping. Christopher Leslie Bray says, we'll have to go out, an all-out attack in the first half to get a few early goals. Kaiser makes a good point. There's so many ex-Aberdeen players in this Kilmarnock squad. Watkins, Ramsey, Kennedy, Mackay, Stevens, Bruce Anderson. How many would get into our team now? It'll be a terrible struggle, he says. Crazy Vassey's on saying, hello dandies, fit like, more of the same from the Dons tomorrow. Stephen Morrison is wishing everybody a good evening. John Bleasdale's on. How are we doing, John? He says, I think we'll get the win. Killy will make it tough by sitting in, but that win last week will have added some much needed confidence, and that determination will see us through. Terry McDermott says, if Marley Watkins scores, our centre-backs will be first against the wall when I'm in charge. Right, so, got a wee new item for you. Now, what did I do with it? Right. There it is there. Okay, so, this is the player that I think we need to be very careful of tomorrow. Bobby Wales, striker. Who has scored 2 in his last 3 games for Kilmarnock. He's only 19, plays up front, moves around a lot, likes to move the central defenders around a lot. He's made 8 starts this season. Total appearances are 17, but he's really, almost you could say, burst his way into the first team. 2 assists. And he's not a bad player. And if, as expected, that Kilmarnock will possibly play this tactic of hoofing the ball, I think he's going to look to play on the shoulders of either Tobers or Knurstas. So they're going to have to be absolutely at it tomorrow, our central defenders, to make sure that they don't give this lad any room whatsoever. So I'm picking him as our player to look out for tomorrow, and I do fully expect him to start for Kilmarnock tomorrow as well. Right, before we get back to you, I wanted to do a On This Day, because on this day, back in 1958, former Aberdeen striker and Hall of Fame member Frank McDougall was born. In just 2 seasons with the club, he scored 69 goals from only 44 games played. He sadly passed away in October 2023. He was a larger-than-life character. He was great fun. I was very lucky to call him a pal. And he is very sadly missed by his family and his very close friends. A couple of years ago, I caught up with Frank for an episode of Beg's Banter, where we spoke about his time at Pittodrie. And in this short clip, I asked him who was the best Aberdeen player that he played with, and what was his all-time favourite Aberdeen goal.
I could say 6, 7, 8 players. Peter Weir, probably.
Okay.
Probably. He made me, obviously being his crosses and whatever he done. Wally Miller was exceptional. We don't get 2 players like McLeish and Miller, and you get 170 caps between them, do you know what I mean?
Mm.
But
okay.
As I say, Ali, they were all great players. Jim Bett, Simpson, Hewitt, Starkey,
Yeah, an unsung hero, Billy Stark, I think.
Oh, mate, unbelievable player.
Yeah, great player.
We call him the Ghost.
Yeah.
He always pops his head in. The Ghost comes in at the back post.
If you had to pick one Aberdeen goal as your favourite, which goal would it be?
The third one against Rangers, the tap in from 2 feet.
At Pittodrie for your hat-trick?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know, I've always wondered, when you celebrated that goal, I can't remember who you're celebrating with. It might be Neil Simpson, but you catch somebody in the crowd and you sort of do a double take and you point at them. Who were you pointing at? Can you remember?
Yeah, it was a guy shouting, "You going for a pint after, Frank?" I says, "Yeah, I'll see you later."
He was, honestly, I cannot begin to tell you what a brilliant, brilliant guy he was. Had his troubles in life, had his struggles. Obviously, his back injury that put him out of the game was heartbreaking. It was a travesty that we didn't see Frank McDougall play more often for Aberdeen. It's common knowledge that Joey Harper's goal-scoring record would seriously have been in threat if Frank was able to stay fit. Rob Clark, a friend of mine who follows the page, follows me on YouTube, put a great comment up earlier today about Frank, that if Frank had been 100% fit against Gothenburg in the quarterfinals of the European Cup back in 1986, Rob suggested that Aberdeen would have won that game comfortably and we would have gone through to the semi-finals of the European Cup. And I have to say, when I thought about it more deeply today, Rob absolutely has a point that Frank was probably, in my lifetime, the greatest goal scorer that I've ever seen at Pittodrie. I was so lucky to watch him for the 2 seasons that he played with the Dons. And he was just one of these guys that just knew where the back of the net was. He didn't even need to blink, did he? Great snooker player, apparently. A wicked sense of humour. Never forget the 2 gigs that I did with him. One in the Village Hotel, which was just one of the funniest nights that I've ever had, when he forgot to turn his microphone off to go to the toilet, which, honest to God, brought the ceiling down. And then we did a gig with him in the Station Hotel with Joe Harper a few years ago, which was also just great fun. Very, very sadly missed by his ex-partner and his little boy, and obviously his extended family as well. So our thoughts very much with all of them today. Frank McDougall, an absolute cult hero of Aberdeen Football Club, and in my humble opinion, Always will be. Right, let's get back to your comments. Kilted Warriors on saying hi everybody. Graham Gibbs says, Bobby Wales out of contract in the summer. Should we be looking at him? Hugh Burns is asking about a Zoom call with one of the local journalists that you've done in the past. They were good previously. Thanks, Hugh. Yeah, they're very much... to be honest with you, I did try to get one of the lads on for this show, but unfortunately, they're all busy with the weekend games. But yes, Hugh, you're absolutely right, and it's something that I'm very much wanting to do more of. Christopher Leslie Bray says, definitely Ali Wales will have to be well marked tomorrow. Terry McDermott says, Bobby Wales sounds like the name of an out-of-shape 70s player for West Bromwich Albion or something. He's never a threat. Sugarland says, just watched Jimmy's pre-match interview on Red TV. Interesting answers to question. Once again, I couldn't hear. Mic the room up properly, please, AFC. I've actually made the suggestion to them that they do that. So when I was home, when was I home? 4 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago now, and I popped into Pittodrie to see my pals. And I actually mentioned that to the team, that they should really try and get some sort of boom mic or something like that so that we can hear the journalists' questions. Musical Box says, what a header of the ball Billy Stark was. Graham Gibbs says, like all the scandal boys we have, but would be good to be hovering up Scottish talent. Neil McDonald said, loved Frank, best striker we ever had. Injury hampered him being a superstar. So, Hugh Burns, right. So, Frank says, great finisher, smacked Fergie too. So, I'm going to stick a little spanner in the works here. So that story is actually not true. But what I love about that story is that it was actually Sir Alex Ferguson's idea to tell Frank, just tell the story, you know, because hopefully it'll help you sell a few more books. Why let the truth get in front of a really good story, eh? Terry McDermott says, Frank was a masterclass. I deeply enjoyed his book. John Bleasdale says, if Frank McDougall's volley against Hearts in 85 was scored by Salah for Liverpool v Chelsea, it'd be repeated daily on Sky Sports. Such an underrated team goal. Rest in peace, Frank. Barry Cole says he was simply class. Sorry, I got those stats around the wrong way. It was 44 goals in 69 games, not 69 goals in 44 games. My mistake. Sorry about that, guys. 44 goals in 69 games. Muppet. Christopher Leslie Bray says, I had the opportunity to work with ex-Aberdeen Alex Willoughby a number of years ago in one of my previous jobs, and some of the stories he used to tell me were rather interesting. John Kylo says, 4 goals against Celtic and he missed a sitter. Wasn't it criminal that game was never televised? Right, guys, we are just about done. So one last thing to ask of you. Don't forget, if you've enjoyed the show tonight, give us a wee like. Thank you for all the comments that have come in. And again, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. We're at about 72% of you who actually watch the show don't subscribe to it. But again, please don't be put off by the word subscribe, because you don't have to pay anything. It's like following on X or following on Facebook. All it means is that you just get a notification when shows go live. So we're now well over 4,200. The next milestone is to get to 4,300 and just to keep kicking on. So if you wouldn't mind subscribing, I'd be absolutely delighted. And as you can see, we're still making a little bit, adding new elements to the show, thinking of new ideas, all that kind of stuff. And also, just to finish off tonight, I don't know if many of you saw my Facebook post and my LinkedIn post. So recently I, thankfully, and I'm actually really quite chuffed with myself, that I passed an exam in public relations and communication through the Chartered Institute of Public Relations back home in the UK. So I've launched a website, and I'm now offering services. And what I would like to do, if there's anybody out there who would like to have a discussion with me about me possibly helping you with your PR and communications to a wider Aberdeen Football Club audience. In return for that, what I'm looking to do is offer sponsorship space here on the channel. So at the moment, I have a couple of spaces available to place company logos, to put your branding out there. And in return, what I will do is work for you in your PR and communications and see if we can start working together. So there are sponsorship opportunities for that. And what I'm looking to do is to do it on a monthly or a bi-monthly basis. So if that is of any interest to any of you, please get in touch, because I've just launched the website. I've only just recently started the company. And I would be absolutely delighted to get going with an Aberdeen Football Club fan, to build that relationship. So if it's something that you think we could work on, please do get in touch. Let's just see if there's any last minute comments that have come in. There's one there. Barry Coe, interesting point. I didn't know this. Only player with hat-tricks against Celtic and Rangers. Really? Wow. Nobody has done both. Wow, Barry, what a stat. Love it. Thank you, fella. Graham Gibbs says, can't be there tomorrow. God knows how it'll go, but come on, you Reds. Keith McDonald says, Don's win coming off the back of a settled team. Oh, that's got your tongues wagging about that stat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave you to it. Craig Davidson, got your message, mate. Brilliant. Good luck with it, fella. Good luck. So, guys, all the very best. All that's left to say, as always on a Friday night, is the very best of luck to the lads tomorrow. Look, just put in a shift like you did against Dundee. Just be, especially a defensive shift, just be mindful, if we score, stay switched on. Be mindful of the long balls. That's how they're going to play tomorrow. It's going to be obvious. They're going to try and hit us on the counter-attack, and then they're going to hit us with long balls. So at the back, in the middle, absolutely be switched on. I hope Kevin continues the form that he showed last week. Gets in and around the 18-yard box. And Toppy plays a little bit more narrow, as does Ockles on the other side. What we showed you last week, during the review show, where the Dons were a little bit more narrow than width. It seemed to work. I think Keskinen in particular benefited from that. So let's see what they do tomorrow. So if you're going to the game tomorrow, don't forget the Community Trust Day. Safe travels, safe journey. Take good care of yourselves, and I'll see you on Sunday for the review show. Stand free!